We'll get started here in just a couple minutes. We're going to get started around 1 p.m. Just a couple more minutes. We're gonna give it about just another minute or so, and then we will get started. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome to everyone on the program today. Today's program is called Sweet Sweet Summer, Planning for a Summer Focusing on You. We're so glad that you all could join us today. The program today is kind of a twofold. So we're going to start off just recognizing that it's been quite the semester, and being it's the last day of classes, we just want to make sure that we recognize that this semester has been a lot, and that we want to kind of take the time to celebrate that, and to recognize all of the work um, that you all have been doing. And so we're going to take that little bit of time to kind of do that, and then we're going to jump into some information about how to best plan for your summer. So with summer coming up and different things that will be happening over the summer, it's important for you to make sure that you're taking the time this summer to really focus on yourself and things that can progress you in your studies and your professional growth, in your personal growth. And so whatever it is, we want to make sure that you kind of have that opportunity to think about that. And so that's kind of a little bit of what we're going to be going over today. But like I mentioned first, we first just want to take the time to celebrate this semester, and that spring is almost done. And so for the students or anyone else on the call, if you want to come off mute and just share something that you learned this semester, something that maybe you were grateful for this past semester. You can also share in the chat feature if you would like as well. Zoom. Okay. So Sarah mentioned Zoom, and yeah, I think that brings up a really good point about how we've learned new technologies, we've learned new ways of connecting with others, of uh, staying connected with people and whatnot. So that ability to alter things that we're doing and to mold and shape kind of how we approach different things that we're doing is really important. And then Matthew shared the ACE Learning Center, so I'm glad, Matthew, that you were able to get connected with ACE, because they're such an important tool on campus, and I want to make we always want to make sure that our students are staying connected with those tools and whatnot. So yeah, so I think when I think back about this semester, one thing, with everything that's gone on, the OAS wants to give a really big shout out to students, faculty, staff, other individuals that are have been a really important part of kind of really taking this semester on and moving forward.
Hello, is anybody there?
Michael? Michael,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, audio problem.
Okay, that's fine. Welcome. We're just kind of taking a little bit of time to celebrate this semester and whatnot. So, this semester has been really tough, and I think there's been a lot of growing pains and growing lessons, and things that we've learned worked, and things that we've learned that haven't worked. And all of that is important for us to take into the future, because it's going to affect kind of how we do things from now on. Even when we're back on campus and when we're back in kind of these spaces, it's going to significantly impact every single thing that we do. And so what that's to say that we know that all of you all have been doing a lot of work to modify classes, to adjust to different methods of teaching that your instructors might be using, to all of a variety of different things. And so really that's all just to say that, we want to congratulate you on making it through the spring semester, because it's been quite a bit, and it's important to just stop, pause, reflect before we jump into finals, that we're here, we got through it. The spring semester gave us a lot, and now that can really prepare us to take the most advantage of everything that's going to be happening this summer. So wanted to take just one other quick second. If you're interested or on the call, whatnot, and wanted to share something that you felt has gone really well this past spring semester, things that you've learned, positive affirmations of everything that you've accomplished this past semester. If you want to come off mute or share, that would be awesome. Oh, Matthew, that's fantastic that you got to spend one more Easter with your family. Yeah, that's the opportunity. It's situations like this, I think, are really important for recognizing that there's certain things that really matter in life, and then others that we think that matter, but situations like this kind of help us reflect a little bit on what truly matters, and things like family and spending time with folks that matter to us are really, really important. So well, with that being said, we'll go ahead and jump into more summer preparation. So with summer coming up, we recognize that summer is going to be a very interesting time. For some of us, you might be taking classes, you might be doing something different, or you're not even sure what you're going to do yet. Depending on what's open and kind of what opportunities you have, that's going to change, and it may even change over the course of the summer. And so we know that a lot of this might adjust, or might not even be applicable in certain situations, but we wanted you to take this time to really start thinking about how you can be proactive in using this summer to your advantage, to get ahead of something, to really progress in those personal and professional goals that you have. And so I included who's ready for the beach, because especially here in Florida, many of us are so used to going to the beach and whatnot, and taking that opportunity, that we sometimes really, really miss that opportunity for the beach. And it is my hope that things accelerate at a pace where we can get back to the beach. But in the meantime, you have these wonderful pictures and things to look at that can help you reminisce about those particular pieces. But I think when we think about the beach and summer or whatnot, it's important for us to recognize that it's not just about being in those spaces, but it's about being in a mindset. So being at the beach, there's a certain mindset you're in. And so how can you replicate that particular mindset, or that kind of bliss, or, some people might call it nirvana, or how can you be in that particular space without physically being in that space? And so I think that's something that we want you to consider throughout this time, because it's so important for us to think about those things as we progress towards summer goals and whatnot. So really for us, it comes down to kind of two ways that I think we can approach the summer. So we can approach it from one of exploration and trying new things and really looking at it, or one that looks at it from a place of dread, and one of missing what maybe had previous or what we had previously planned. And so that could be summer vacations, and it's okay to mourn and to miss those things, but we want to make sure that you take the opportunity to realize that there's other things that you can be doing this summer. There are lots of different things that you can explore this summer. There are particular things that you can really focus on this summer that will help you get out of this particular mindset of dreading, what can't happen, or mourning what can't happen over the summer, and instead get into this one of exploration, of excitement of what summer could still be. And so that's all to preface a couple different suggestions we have. And so the first is, if you have not considered yet taking a summer course, I really, want to take the opportunity to recommend you looking into that option. And there's certain things that come with summer courses, but there's a lot of really great pluses to and benefits to taking a summer course. And so what we know is that summer courses can help you get ahead in your studies. And so for those of you that are looking to graduate early, or you maybe got caught a little bit behind previously, it's going to help you catch up, or it's going to help you get ahead, so that you can leave, or leave with your degree a little sooner and whatnot. And while we certainly love to have you at FSU and want you to be part of our FSU community for as long as you are comfortable and want to be, we also want you to have something meaningful like a degree and go off and get a meaningful job and whatnot. And summer courses can help you progress towards that goal. The other thing to remember with all this is that you can use financial aid, including Bright Futures, during the summer. And so, sometimes students are a little worried about kind of what that would mean for taking summer classes and whatnot. We highly encourage that you get connected with financial aid, the Office of Financial Aid, to discuss what financial aid options might be available during the summer. But the summer offers a really good opportunity to use some financial aid to get ahead in your courses. Additionally, it can give you an opportunity to boost your GPA by retaking a course. So if you didn't do so well in a course in previous semesters, or you're trying to kind of get your GPA up a little bit, you can use summer courses as an opportunity, a low impact opportunity for you to really take that class that's going to help boost your GPA, that I can probably get an A in this class, or I can work hard in this class and really get a good grade in this, and that's going to help boost my GPA, so that if you're applying for scholarships for the fall, if you're applying for different programs on campus, that summer course is going to help you. It's going to help you get closer to that GPA requirement that you may need for those particular scholarships or programs or whatnot. So, and then also, we also just say that it's also a way to learn something new and fun. So, if you're missing that the X or Y requirement for your class requirement for your studies or your degree, or if you're missing a particular elective or type of elective that you are hoping to get done fairly soon, the summer is a really great opportunity to do that, and it's a really good opportunity to take a fun class that you might find interesting, and something that can kind of pique your interest and help you learn something new while still completing those requirements. So really those summer courses are a really good opportunity for that. But there are a couple things that you should consider when it comes to taking summer courses. So, the first thing is really summer courses are all online, including Summer C this year. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you are familiar or comfortable with online courses and with that course method. We really are going to encourage that you make sure that those online courses are going to be a really good method for you, because if it's just a method that isn't particularly beneficial for you, or you find online learning a little difficult, then you may want to take that into consideration. Additionally, there's lots of online resources to help you during the summer, including tutoring, academic assistance through ACE, study groups, all kinds of other things that you might have options for. So you also will want to reach out to, or you have the option to reach out to each instructor of the course to discuss class delivery and even get a copy of the syllabus. And so if online learning is something that you're a little nervous about, or you're in taking the spring classes online, you realized that it's not, there were particular delivery methods of the course that weren't so conducive to your learning style, you could reach out to the instructor for each of those courses, if there's a course that has multiple sections, and try to figure out which one's going to work best for you. You could work with your academic advisor on those particular pieces. Sometimes you can even get a copy of the syllabus from the instructor to see what materials are required, things of that nature. And I think that all can be really, really helpful to succeeding in your kind of endeavor for taking a summer course. The other thing to consider, two more things actually. So summer courses can be shorter and consequently higher pressure and faster pace. So if you're taking a course that's strictly for summer B, or if it's strictly for summer C, those are 6-week courses. So what typically would be a 14, 15, even 16-week course is condensed into 6 weeks, which means that you may have more class periods that you're jumping into during the summer. You may have assignments that are due in a more quicker timeline. And so if you find that pace is a little difficult, you may want to prepare for that. And so it might be helpful to only take one summer course instead of 2. Or it might be helpful to consider the type of summer course that you're taking. And so if math is something that you're not well suited to, it might not be helpful to take a math course during summer C or summer B. It might be more helpful to take something like psychology or English, or some subject area that you're much more well suited to, and that your learning style and learning preferences are more suited to. So you want to be sure to keep out for that. The other thing, and it's just as a general reminder with OAS, is that you can still receive accommodations through the summer. And so to do that, you're going to request your faculty notification letters through the student portal, just as anyone else would, during the fall or spring semester. And so you go into the student portal, request your faculty notification letters, and we will send them out to your instructors. And it's really important that you do that as soon as possible, especially considering what I just mentioned about the shorter class periods and the higher pressure and faster pace of those courses. All of that is really important to consider when looking at summer courses. So I want to take just a quick second and if there's any questions that you have, you can put them in the chat, or you can come off mute to share a question if you'd like. So Matthew, actually, that is going to be something that we will be doing. So we will be doing online events during Summer C. We will actually have a little bit of information coming out very soon about all of that. So we have some events will be taking place and really starting around the end of May, and they'll go throughout the summer. So we will, they may not be on as much of a regular basis, but we will have more information coming out about that, and some really neat opportunities to digitally connect with our office and make sure that you stay connected with us. So. I'll give another couple seconds if anyone else has any questions or wants to share something about summer courses. Okay, so summer courses is certainly a great way, but we also understand that, you know, if summer aid isn't there, or if you have some other things that you may need to kind of focus on, that sometimes those taking a summer course is not always the best option. And so, you know, when we want you to think about also taking the opportunity for you to jump into career progression and whatnot throughout the summer. And so one really great way to do that is to take a summer internship. And so a summer internship is a really great opportunity to take a break from classes, to get real world experience, to connect with other professionals in the field that you really want to be in, and to still get you know, credit and recognition for those things, and to really take a small amount of time during the summer to kind of have a big payout in terms of having that career experience and whatnot. So there's some really wonderful resources that the Career Center offers with this. And so we will try and share some with you. And so the first is, let me see if I can pull it up here. Oh. So can everyone see the current screen that I'm on? The Intern FSU screen? Thanks, Sarah, for sharing about interning remotely. So this is a wonderful program that the Career Center has called Intern FSU. And this is, while it does mostly involve interning on campus, like Sarah mentioned, there is the opportunity to intern remotely. And so there are certainly quite a few opportunities for you to still intern remotely, and one of those is through Intern FSU. And so this will be posted on the resources page and along with the PowerPoint that will be posted. But we highly encourage you to take a look at these opportunities. because Intern FSU gives you the opportunity to intern right here at FSU locally, in a space that doesn't require, a lot of work and really helps you understand that or get you connected with an internship site that is much more understanding of your needs and time commitment as a student. And so it's really important for you to kind of seek out those resources, especially with Intern FSU. The other thing is that on the career also on the Career Center webpage, you will also see the option to search for internships. And so there's quite a bit of information on different internships that are available. And a lot of them are still going to be remote throughout this time. And so there's some different categories that you can look at. You can also start by going through Handshake. And Handshake is the kind of general platform that the Career Center uses for searching for different jobs on campus, jobs outside of campus, and internship and career-related experiences on campus. And so if you have not taken a chance to look at Handshake and different opportunities that are available through there, we highly, highly encourage you to take a look at that. And just as Sarah mentioned, you can earn credit for an internship, but you have to apply for that credit by the end of drop ad. So you want to make sure that if you're doing an internship for credit, that you are submitting that information in a timely manner, so that you can for sure get credit for that. But this internship is going to be an internship can be really helpful because it's an opportunity to get experience outside of your classwork that helps get you connected with professionals in the field. This is where maybe a lot of your different professional references might come from when you leave FSU. It's going to be a place where you can kind of reflect on and take the opportunity to think about, is this field or is this career going to be something that I feel like I will really enjoy, and that it'll be more than just a job for me. It's going to be something that's very fulfilling. And so an internship gives you that opportunity. Another opportunity that I'm not entirely sure will be available, but it is something to think about even towards the future, is that through international programs, you do have the opportunity to intern abroad. And so while during this time, that certainly would likely mean that you would be interning remotely, this is something to think about, because this is a wonderful way for you to get experience, career experience from an international perspective. And so this site gives you a lot of different information on how to set up that internship, what that might look like. And I would encourage you to reach out to the International Programs Office to see if there are any remote opportunities to intern, and what that may look like at this point in time. So. So at this point in time, being that we are finished with internships, are there any other questions, anything regarding kind of this opportunity? Fantastic. So and that's all to say with all that we've kind of been talking about today, is that there's so much more that you can do. And so it's not just about doing, taking classes or doing something academic or doing, something that's career related. this provides us a really good opportunity to be creative and create new things and get those creative juices flowing. And so something I want you to think about is there a project that you've been working on for quite a while that you just haven't been able to get back to, or you've really wanted to kind of expand and really focus on that particular project, but you just haven't had the time because of classes and other things? Summer is a great opportunity for that. Or if you've had this idea that's been cooking in your brain for a little bit and you have this clear idea of what it should be, but you're just unsure of yourself or whatnot, or unsure that you could that you feel like you would be successful in it. Now's the time to take that plunge and really take that kind of jump into that creative endeavor. And so I want to ask you all, so if you'd like to share in the Zoom chat, or if you'd like to come off mute to share, what is something that you've creatively wanted to do, and maybe just haven't found the time to do it, or have want to do more of? Oh, Keishla, that's awesome. So Keishla is planning to launch a podcast in the summer now that they have more time. That's really awesome. Keishla, I will say personally, I also just launched a podcast myself, but there's some really great tools to help you with being creative. And even if you're not fully able to think of something right now, sometimes this is about just storyboarding. And so you can see on this PowerPoint, there's kind of it's depicted this little notebook, and there's this big cloud that says ideas. And so even just taking the time, a small amount of time to storyboard and say, what are some things that I'm really interested in, and I want to help those ideas come to life. Storyboarding is a really great way to do some of that. So the other piece with this is there's some resources and some things we want you to think about when it comes to being creative. And so the first is we want you to use your resources. And so the first is the FSU library. There's some professionals in the FSU library that can absolutely help you with these different things. And so whether that's going to be some sort of research that you're working on, whether that is, from my understanding, they have professionals that can help work with you on different tools to help with a podcast, with different software and things of that nature that you might need access to. The FSU library is a really fantastic resource for you in that endeavor, and we want to make sure that you are going to take advantage of that. The other piece with this is we also want you to think about using the Adobe Creative Suite. So from my understanding, at least right now through May 31st, students can get free personal access on their computers to the Adobe Creative Suite. After that, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but I'm sure the ITS, Information Technology Services with FSU, will release more information. But even then, I know Adobe is doing discounted subscriptions to their Creative Suite for students. And so the Adobe Creative Suite is a fantastic tool to help you with your creative projects, and we want to make sure that you're using that if you really want to use that tool. Also, there's the MyFSU Virtual Lab, and so this gets you the opportunity for access to computers and software that might be on the computers physically on campus, but you just don't have access to those. And so, we want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that. The other thing I'll mention is that case management, if you're finding that you need access to a computer and whatnot, case management with FSU has a technology loan program that will let you borrow a laptop computer from FSU for the duration of the time that you need it through while classes are virtual. And so, it's really important for you to think about, if you feel like you could use something of that nature, take advantage of that. That's really important. The other thing with being creative is we want you to also take this opportunity to not just create a project, but to make it be meaningful. And so, how do you turn a project, something that you're randomly doing, to something that is meaningful and can progress you in your personal and professional goals? And so, the first thing is through FSU, you can create something called a career portfolio. And what this will do is that this will give you the opportunity to create something through the Career Center that directly shows your progress in different projects and different areas. And so this is where an internship, you can document an internship, you can document different things you've learned. And we highly encourage you, if you're working on something this summer as a creative project, put it in a career portfolio because those are things that you can share with future employers that allow you to completely kind of demonstrate these different skills and these different things that you've done that are meaningful to both having a career and personal and professional fulfillment. So we want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that if as a tool that's available to FSU students. Also, I think this is a real opportunity to leverage social media. And so if you're not on LinkedIn or you're not posting these different things on social media, find different hashtags that will get you discovered. Find different ways to connect with others so that you can show your artwork. You can show, distribute your podcast. You can, show your different recipes that you're creating and what those look like. All of those are really, really important things. And you can start learning, if you don't know already how to market yourself on social media and LinkedIn, you can start learning how to do that. And you can do that while being creative and progressing in kind of that area. So, and then also creating an online presence. And so, if this is something that, really is meaningful, just being creative doesn't mean that you don't have to make money doing it. And so if, you want to monetize your podcast, or if you want to sell your drawings or your paintings, or you want to eventually create a recipe book that, you solicit donations for so that people can download it. All of those are really great ways, and you can do that all online. So going through Etsy and places like Pinterest and even Amazon or other spaces, I think is really, really important to making sure that your work has more than just a sentimental value or a personal value, that you can elevate that work into a profile. And then finally, we have some tips on how to really kind of promote being creative. And so for me, it's all about making it a part of your daily and weekly routine. So it's about setting aside a small amount of time to prioritize it. So every single week, you need to have, whether it's an hour, whether it's a couple hours, something of that nature, set aside that time to prioritize it and to, make it a part of your daily or weekly schedule. It's also having a space that's conducive to being creative. And so if it's doing a podcast or videos, or you're cooking in your kitchen, make sure that you have the space to record all of that, and that it's quiet in there if you need it quiet, or that it looks aesthetically pleasing, or if it's a space to write, if you have a desk, or if you have, if you need a space of zen or a comfortable chair or whatever that is, do those things implicit or explicitly so that that space is conducive to being creative, and that the creative juices flow as naturally because that space is one that is conducive to those endeavors. And then if you aren't using tools like a calendar or organizer to track your progress on your goal, make sure that you're doing that. Find a way to track that progress and give yourself rewards as you're moving along. And so, if it's something where you want to create or you want to start doing more art or whatnot, and you finish your first art piece, give yourself a little reward that helps you solidify that as something meaningful and whatnot. Track your progress on those creative goals so that you can make sure that it becomes more automatic. It becomes something that works really well for you. So a couple other things that we want to share. So OAS has some really great opportunities to engage with us this summer. One of those is going to be a fantastic program called our first year guide program. And so moving forward, we are planning on connecting first year students and incoming students with current students that are registered with our office. And so more information will be coming about this soon, but this program offers an opportunity for you all to get connected with students, to give advice, and to constantly check in with students, to spread awareness of our office and opportunities offered by our office. And so, and this is something that all incoming students and first year students will be opted into. And so, the students have an opportunity to engage in it, or they can choose not to, but it gives you that opportunity to still connect. And we're planning on connecting both the first year guides and the students in the program, the first year and incoming students, by a variety of factors, including disability and the college you're in, and the different interests. And so it's going to be a really, really neat program and a really neat opportunity to kind of grow our community at the office. And so we want to make sure that you have that opportunity. So pay attention to some emails that will be coming out and some information that will be coming out about that. Also, there's a wonderful article on the Center for Leadership and Social Change website on virtual service opportunities. And so, as you see here, this article is going to give you some wonderful assets and ways to reach out and to get connected with different agencies in the community, different ways to stay connected with others and to serve others during this time. And what a wonderful way to spend the summer, by serving other people and by having that opportunity to give back to your communities. And those are things that are meaningful on something like a resume. They're meaningful in job applications. They're meaningful in other opportunities and different things that you'll want to really engage in, whether you're a first year student or whether you're a graduating student. So the summer is a really great opportunity for that, and we want to make sure that you're taking that opportunity to do that. So on behalf of OAS, we want you to make this a summer focused on you. And so whether that's taking a summer course, whether it is getting engaged in service, digitally, virtually, whether it is being creative and working on a project of some kind, or whether it's just enjoying it to yourself and taking that opportunity to enjoy life and relax and take a break from academics. Use the summer meaningfully to recharge, to reconnect, to make it purposeful. And I think that's something that from OAS, we all want to make sure that you are engaging in and taking advantage of. And so our office is going to be open during the summer. We want you to really use us as a tool, as an asset, a resource to support your goals throughout this summer. Please stay connected with us. Um, Additionally, I will also mention, I know many of you all probably have finals next week, and so just know that we are open during finals week. You can meet with us next week if you need to discuss anything. We are easily accessible by phone, by email, however you would like to reach out to us. So really, take this summer, for that opportunity to grow, to learn, to progress in your personal and professional goals. And so I'm going to leave you with one question that I want you to think about. And if you want to post in the Zoom chat or you want to come off mute to share, but what is one thing that you are looking forward to this summer that you are really going to focus on? Sarah, I love that. Staying healthy and putting yourself first. Yeah, staying healthy is really important. And so, if you don't have classes going on, sometimes you might find, you know, a lot of time during the day. And so really taking that opportunity to stay healthy. Matthew, I love that. Staying festive for the many holidays coming up. Oh, preparation for the LSAT and making the best grades you can during the summer semester. Well, on behalf of OAS and the OAS team, I just want to thank you all for jumping in today. And I hope that this got you thinking a little bit about how you can prioritize this time that you'll have this summer to really focus on you and your goals. And so um, with that being said, thank you all so much for those that were able to join us throughout this Spring into Success series during the spring semester. We are going to wish you the best on your finals and wrapping up the semester as well as you can. And we really look forward to engaging and connecting with you over the summer and all of the success that you're going to have moving into the summer and into early fall. So thanks, y'all.